Lorraine Davis stood in the back corner of the reception hall, trying to make herself invisible. She'd been doing that a lot lately, shrinking, staying quiet, taking up less space. At her own son's wedding, the venue was beautiful. Marcus had picked it out with his fiancée, Simone. Crystal chandeliers hung from vaulted ceilings, and white roses covered every surface. The whole thing probably cost more than Lorraine made in 2 years as a school secretary. But she'd offered what she could. $3,000 saved over 18 months. It wasn't much, but it was hers to give. Simone had laughed when she saw the check. $3,000? That won't even cover the cake. Lorraine had smiled anyway, kept her mouth shut. This was Marcus's day and she wasn't going to ruin it. She watched her son now, dancing with his new wife. He looked happy. Oh, that was all that mattered, right? Even if Simone had been cold to her from day one. Even if every family dinner felt like walking through a minefield. Even if she'd heard Simone call her that woman more times than she could count. Ms. Davis? Lorraine turned. One of the servers stood there with a tray of champagne glasses. Oh, no thank you, baby. I'm good. You sure? It's top shelf. Bride's orders. Only the best tonight. Lorraine smiled weakly. Only the best. Unless you were the groom's mother, apparently. She'd been seated at table 12. Not at the family table up front, but in the back corner near the bathrooms. When she'd asked Marcus about it, he'd gotten that look on his face. The one that said he was tired. Tired of being caught between his mother and his wife. Mom, please, just let it go. It's one night. So she let it go. Taksha, like she always did. The DJ called for all the parents to come to the dance floor for a special dance. Lorraine's heart jumped. This was it. Her moment with her son. She'd been looking forward to this for months. She started toward the floor. Then she saw Simone's mother, Patricia, already there. Smiling wide, arms open for Marcus, Lorraine stopped walking. Where's my boy at? Patricia called out, and Marcus went to her. They started swaying to Luther Vandross. Simone joined them, wrapping her arms around both of them. Lorraine stood frozen at the edge of the dance floor. No one called her up. No one even looked her way. She turned around and walked back to table 12. Sat down, felt something crack inside her chest. You okay, sweetheart? The woman next to her, someone's aunt, Lorraine didn't know, patted her hand. I'm fine, Lorraine whispered. But she wasn't fine. She was so far from fine she couldn't even see fine anymore. The rest of the reception passed in a blur. Lorraine stayed in her corner, picked at her food, watched everyone else have the time of their lives. When the cake cutting happened, she wasn't invited up for photos. When the toast started, no one mentioned her name. It was like she didn't exist. Finally, Marcus found her. He looked uncomfortable, his bow tie loosened and his jacket slung over his arm. Hey, Mom, you doing all right? I'm fine, baby. She stood up, smoothed down her dress. It was a beautiful ceremony. You look so handsome. Thanks. He hugged her, and for a second she felt like she had her son back. Her little boy who used to climb into her lap when he had nightmares. Who used to tell her she was the prettiest woman in the world. I gotta go, he said, pulling away. We're heading out soon, but I'll call you when we get back from the honeymoon, okay? Okay. He started to leave, then turned back. Mom, thanks for everything. I know it hasn't been easy, she nodded. Couldn't speak. If she spoke, she'd cry. Marcus left, and Lorraine gathered her purse. Time to go. She headed toward the exit, keeping her head down. Finally, the voice came from behind a column near the door. Lorraine recognized it immediately. Simone. I thought she'd never leave, Simone continued. She was talking to someone. Sounded like her sister Kendra. Lorraine should have kept walking. Should have just left, but her feet stopped moving. Girl, you were so patient tonight, Kendra said. I would have lost it having her here. Trust me. I wanted to uninvite her, Simone laughed. A cold, sharp sound. But Marcus would have had a fit. He still got this weird loyalty thing with her. That's his mama, though. Barely. You know she wasn't even there for most of his childhood? My mama told me. She was always working, never had time for him. That's why he was raised by his grandmother. Lorraine's hands started shaking. That wasn't true. She'd worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over Marcus's head after his father left. Her mother helped, yes, but Lorraine had been there. She'd always been there. And then she shows up tonight in that raggedy dress, Simone continued. Did you see it? Looked like she got it from Burlington. She had gotten it from Burlington. It was all she could afford. And that hair? Girl, no. I specifically told Marcus to tell her to get it done professionally. Sure, but I guess $3,000 doesn't leave much room for a salon. They both laughed. Lorraine felt heat crawling up her neck. Her vision got blurry. Honestly, Simone said, and her voice dropped lower, meaner. I'm just glad she stayed in the back where she belonged. Did you see how much she was eating at the cocktail hour? Like a pig at a trough. I was embarrassed for Marcus. Something inside Lorraine snapped. She stepped out from around the column. Both women froze. Ms. Davis, Kendra started, her eyes going wide. Don't. Lorraine held up a hand. Her voice came out steady. Calm. That scared her more than screaming would have. I heard every word. Simone's face hardened. No apology, no shame, just annoyance at being caught. Well, Simone said, crossing her arms. Irie, now you know how we really feel. Simone, Kendra grabbed her sister's arm. No! Simone shook her off. She was going to find out eventually anyway. Might as well be now. Lorraine stared at her daughter-in-law. This woman her son had chosen. This woman who had just called her a pig. You're right about one thing, Lorraine said quietly. I did buy my dress from Burlington because I gave my son $3,000 for his wedding. Money I saved working overtime for a year and a half. Simone rolled her eyes. $3,000 barely. And you're right that I wasn't home as much as I wanted to be when Marcus was young, because I was working 2 jobs to make sure he had food and clothes and a chance at a better life. Because his father walked out and I had no one else. That's not my problem. And you're right that my hair isn't professionally done, because I couldn't afford it after giving you that money. But I'm here. I showed up. I have been showing up for my son his entire life. Simone's jaw tightened. You know what? I'm done with this. You're just bitter because Marcus chose me over you. He didn't choose you over me. He loves both of us. Or at least he's trying to. Please, he told me how you guilt-tripped him his whole life. How you always made him feel bad for wanting his own life. That's why he moved 3 hours away. To get away from you. The words hit Lorraine like a slap. She felt herself sway. That's not true, she whispered, isn't it? Simone stepped closer. He doesn't need you anymore, Ms. Davis. He has me now. He has my family. Oh, people who actually have something to offer him. Lorraine looked at this woman. Really looked at her. Saw the cruelty there. The cold calculation. I feel sorry for you, Lorraine said. Excuse me. I said I feel sorry for you because one day you're going to need grace. You're going to make a mistake or fall on hard times or need someone to forgive you. And I hope whoever you need it from is kinder than you've been to me. She turned to leave. Don't you walk away from me, Simone called after her. I'm not done. Yes, you are. Lorraine didn't look back. I'm going home, and I'm going to pray for you, because clearly someone needs to. She walked out of that reception hall with her head high, made it to her car before the tears came. Then she sat in the parking lot and sobbed. Deep, wrenching sobs that came from somewhere ancient inside her. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Love you, Mom. Thanks for being here tonight. She didn't respond. Couldn't. Instead, she drove home to her small apartment on the south side. Walked past the photos of Marcus on the walls. Him as a baby, his kindergarten graduation, his high school diploma. The day he got accepted to college. She'd been so proud, so hopeful that all her sacrifice had been worth it. Now she wasn't sure of anything. Lorraine changed out of her Burlington dress and into her nightgown, washed her unprofessional hair, sat on her couch in the dark. Her phone rang at midnight. Marcus. She let it go to voicemail. It rang again at 12:15 and again at 12:30. Finally at 1 a.m. she answered. Mom, where are you? Aunt Simone said you left without saying goodbye. Lorraine closed her eyes. I did say goodbye, baby. To you. Are you okay? You sound weird. I'm tired, Marcus. Okay, well, we're about to head to the hotel. Our flight leaves at 6, but I wanted to check on you first. I'm fine. You go enjoy your honeymoon. Are you sure? Because Simone said, what did Simone say? Silence on the other end. Marcus, what did your wife say? She said you might have overheard her talking to Kendra and that you got upset. That's one way to put it. Mom, please, not tonight. Can we just... Did you tell her I guilt-tripped you your whole life? More silence. Marcus, we were having an argument one time. I said some things I didn't mean. Did you mean them when you said them? I was angry. Did you mean them? He sighed. I don't know, Mom. Maybe. Sometimes. It felt like I could never make you happy. Like nothing I did was ever enough. Lorraine felt something inside her go very still. Is that really how you feel? I don't want to do this right now. Do you know what she called me tonight? Mom, a pig. She called me a pig, Marcus. Said I ate like a pig at a trough. She didn't mean, yes, she did. She meant every word. And you know what hurts the most? Not that she said it, but that you're defending her. I'm not defending anyone. I just don't want you two fighting on my wedding night. Then maybe you should have told your wife to treat your mother with respect. She heard him breathing heavy on the other end. When he spoke again, his voice was cold. You know what, Mom? Maybe Simone was right. Maybe you do need to learn when to let go. The line went dead. Lorraine sat there holding her phone, staring at the screen. Her son had chosen, and he hadn't chosen her. She didn't sleep that night, just sat in the dark, replaying every moment, every choice she'd made, wondering where she'd gone wrong. By morning, she felt numb, hollow, like someone had reached inside her and scooped out everything that mattered. She went to work Monday like a ghost, answered phones at the elementary school front desk, smiled at parents, helped lost kindergartners find their classrooms, pretended everything was fine. Tuesday was the same. Wednesday, her supervisor called her into the office. Lorraine, I'm worried about you. I'm okay, Mrs. Chen. You're not okay. You've been crying in the bathroom between shifts. Had she? She didn't even remember. I'm fine. And really, Mrs. Chen didn't look convinced. Why don't you take a few personal days? Get some rest. Lorraine wanted to argue, but she was so tired, so impossibly tired. Okay, she whispered. She went home, climbed into bed, and didn't get out for 3 days. What happens next? Will Lorraine ever forgive Marcus? And what does Simone's father's new boss have to do with any of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. On Thursday afternoon, Lorraine's phone rang. She'd been ignoring calls all week, but this one was from an unknown number. Something made her answer. Hello? Ms. Davis, this is Jennifer Caldwell from Caldwell and Associates. Lorraine sat up in bed. Caldwell and Associates. That was one of the biggest corporate law firms in the city. Yes? I'm calling because we've been trying to reach you about a position. Well, you interviewed with us 6 months ago for the executive legal secretary role? She had. It was right after Marcus got engaged. She'd wanted a better job, better pay, wanted to be able to contribute more to the wedding, but she'd never heard back and assumed they'd gone with someone else. I remember. Well, we'd like to offer you the position. We know it's been a while, but our previous candidate didn't work out, and your interview was exceptional. The position comes with a significant salary increase and full benefits. Are you still interested? Lorraine's mind was spinning. How much of an increase? Jennifer named a number that was almost double what she currently made. When would I start? Monday, if possible. I know it's short notice, but we really need someone strong in that role. Yeah, our new senior partner is very particular about his support staff. Monday. Okay, yes, I'll take it. Wonderful. I'll send over the paperwork. And Ms. Davis, welcome to Caldwell and Associates. Lorraine hung up the phone and stared at the wall. For the first time in a week, she felt something other than pain. Not quite hope, but maybe the tiny seed of it. She got out of bed, took a shower, did her hair, looked at herself in the mirror and decided she was still here, still standing. Marcus might not need her anymore, but she was still Lorraine Davis. And Lorraine Davis didn't stay down for long. Friday, she went back to work at the school, put in her 2 weeks' notice. Mrs. Chen hugged her tight. I'm so proud of you, she said. Thank you for everything. The weekend passed slowly. Lorraine tried to distract herself with packing up her desk, preparing for the new job. She hadn't heard from Marcus. Didn't expect to. They were on their honeymoon, somewhere tropical, living their best life, without her. Monday morning, Lorraine put on her best suit. It was a few years old, but it still fit well. She did her makeup carefully, drove to the glass high-rise downtown where Caldwell and Associates occupied the top 5 floors. The office was intimidating. All marble and chrome and important-looking people rushing around with expensive briefcases. Jennifer met her in the lobby. She was young, professional, warm. "So glad you're here. Let me show you to your office." "Well, your desk. It's right outside the senior partner's office." They took the elevator to the 32nd floor. The senior partner suite was at the end of a long hallway. Everything was quiet up here. Serious. "He's not in yet," Jennifer said, showing Lorraine to a large desk with 2 computer monitors. "He usually arrives around 9, but I'll walk you through the systems first." For the next hour, Jennifer trained Lorraine on the computer programs, the filing systems, the coffee preferences. It was overwhelming, but Lorraine took notes, asked questions, focused. At exactly 9 a.m., the elevator dinged. "That'll be him," Jennifer said. "Ready to meet your boss?" Lorraine stood up, smoothing her skirt, turned toward the elevator. A tall black man in an expensive suit stepped out. He was on his phone, talking in a low voice. He had gray at his temples and carried himself with the kind of confidence that came from years of success. "None, I don't care what they offered," he was saying. "Tell them we're not interested unless they triple it." "Yeah, okay, I'll call you back." He hung up and looked toward his office, saw Lorraine standing there. He stopped walking. "Mr. Pierce," Jennifer said brightly, "this is Lorraine Davis, your new executive secretary." But Mr. Pierce was staring at Lorraine with an expression she couldn't read. "Ms. Davis," he said slowly, "it's been a long time." Lorraine's mind raced. Did she know him? He looked vaguely familiar, but she couldn't place. "Raymond," she whispered, "you remember." He smiled slightly. "I wasn't sure you would." Jennifer looked between them, confused. "You two know each other?" "We went to high school together," Raymond said. "A lifetime ago." Lorraine was floored. Raymond Pierce. And he'd been 2 years ahead of her at Washington High. Smart, ambitious, always talking about becoming a lawyer. She'd lost track of him after graduation. "I had no idea you were the senior partner," she said. "Just made partner 6 months ago. Moved back from New York." He studied her face. "You look good, Lorraine." "So do you." Jennifer cleared her throat. "Well, I'll leave you two to catch up. Lorraine, you're in good hands. Mr. Pierce is tough but fair." She left, and suddenly Lorraine was alone with her new boss, a man she used to know, a man she used to have a crush on, back when they were teenagers. "This is wild," Raymond said, shaking his head. "Small world. Very small. Well, since we already know each other, we can skip the awkward getting-to-know-you phase." He gestured toward his office. "Come in. Let me show you how I work." They spent the next few hours going over his schedule, his preferences, his cases. Raymond was professional, focused, but every now and then, he'd make a comment that reminded her of the boy he used to be. "You still drink your coffee black?" he asked at one point. "You remember that? I remember you used to drink 3 cups during finals week and then be up until 2 in the morning." She laughed, actually laughed. It felt strange after everything. By lunch, Lorraine was starting to feel like maybe this job would be okay. Better than okay, actually. The work was interesting, Raymond was kind, and the pay was going to change her life. She was eating a salad at her desk when Raymond came out of his office. Jacket off, tie loosened. "Hey, I've got a client meeting at 2. Hey, but I wanted to ask you something first." "Sure." "You married?" The question caught her off guard. "No, was once, but no." "Kids?" "One son, Marcus. He just got married, actually." "Congratulations." "Thank you." She didn't want to talk about the wedding, didn't want to think about it. Raymond must have sensed something because he changed the subject. "Well, if you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you let me know. We take care of our people here." "I appreciate that." He started to walk away, then paused. "Actually, there is one thing you should know. My daughter is getting married next month." Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, she's marrying this corporate finance guy. Smart kid. We're doing a family dinner this weekend to meet his parents. Should be interesting. Lorraine smiled. I'm sure it'll be great. We'll see. Or his parents sound pretty stuffy. Old money, you know the type. He went back into his office and Lorraine returned to her salad. But her mind was wandering, thinking about Marcus, about Simone, about the wedding that had destroyed her. She pushed the thoughts away. She had a new job, a new chapter. She was going to be okay. The week passed quickly. By Friday, Lorraine felt like she was getting the hang of things. She liked the work, loved the people, and Raymond was an excellent boss, demanding but respectful. Nothing like some of the horror stories she'd heard about lawyers. Friday afternoon, he stuck his head out of his office. Lorraine, you got a second? Of course. She followed him inside. He had papers spread all over his desk, his reading glasses perched on his nose. So that family dinner I mentioned? It's tomorrow night. And I just found out my assistant is supposed to be there too. Lorraine blinked. Your assistant? Me? I know it's last minute, and I know it's a Saturday, but my daughter specifically requested that someone from my office be there to take notes. She's very particular about documenting everything. He smiled ruefully. Gets that from me, I guess. Okay, sure. You're a lifesaver. It's at the Capitol Grill. 7 p.m. Wear something nice, and prepare yourself for some awkward conversation. Meeting the in-laws is always painful. Lorraine agreed, though her stomach was in knots. A fancy dinner. Meeting wealthy people. She didn't have anything appropriate to wear. That night she went to Macy's, splurged on a new dress with her first paycheck. Black, elegant, professional. Treated herself to a blowout at the salon. And if she was going to do this, she was going to do it right. Saturday evening, she arrived at the Capitol Grill at 6:50. Raymond was already there, looking sharp in a navy suit. You look great, he said. Thank you, so do you. Come on, let's get this over with. They walked into the private dining room. Raymond's daughter was there, a stunning woman in her late 20s with her father's eyes. Her fiancé stood beside her, handsome in that generic way that wealthy white guys often were. Dad, the daughter hugged Raymond. You made it. Wouldn't miss it, sweetheart. This is Lorraine Davis, my assistant. Lorraine, this is my daughter, Vanessa. Nice to meet you, Lorraine said. You too. Thanks for coming. Other people trickled in. Vanessa's fiancé's family. His mother, elegant and cold. His father, a corporate executive who kept checking his phone. And then the door opened one more time. Lorraine's world stopped, because walking into that private dining room, arm in arm with a man in an expensive suit, was Simone. And behind them, looking uncomfortable in a borrowed blazer, was Marcus. Simone saw her first. Her eyes went wide, then narrowed. Marcus's face drained of all color. Mom? He whispered. Raymond looked between them, confused. You all know each other? The man with Simone, her father, Lorraine realized, stepped forward. Raymond, good to see you, man. This is my daughter, Simone, and her new husband, Marcus. Everything clicked into place. Simone's father worked in corporate finance. He'd just started a new position. Working under Raymond Pierce. Simone's face went through about 5 different emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, confusion, horror, and then finally that same cold calculation Lorraine had seen at the wedding. Ms. Davis, she said tightly. What a surprise. Small world, Lorraine said quietly. Marcus looked like he might be sick. Raymond was still confused. Wait, do you all know each other? This is my son, Lorraine said. Marcus, and his wife, Simone. Understanding dawned on Raymond's face. Then something else, something sharp. Your son, he repeated, the one who just got married. Yes. He looked at Simone, at Marcus, then back at Lorraine. She saw the moment he decided something. Well then, Raymond said, his voice pleasant but his eyes hard. This should be an interesting evening. They all sat down at the long table. Lorraine ended up directly across from Simone. Marcus was beside his wife, looking like he wanted to disappear. Simone's father, Gerald, apparently, was oblivious to the tension. He kept talking about how excited he was to be working with Raymond, how this new position was going to change everything for their family. It's really an honor, sir, Gerald said. I've heard so much about you. I'm sure you have, Raymond said. He glanced at Lorraine. And have you heard about my executive secretary? Lorraine here is already proving to be invaluable. Gerald barely looked at Lorraine. That's nice. But Simone was staring. Hard. The appetizers came. Lorraine couldn't eat. She could feel Marcus's eyes on her, but she didn't look at him. So, Raymond said casually, Marcus, Simone, how was the honeymoon? It was beautiful, Simone said, her voice strained. Just perfect. That's wonderful. And the wedding? Oh, I heard it was quite the event. Simone's smile faltered. It was lovely, Lorraine said quietly. Marcus looked so handsome. Now Marcus did look at her. His eyes were full of something, regret, maybe, or guilt. Mom, he started. So Lorraine, Gerald interrupted, finally acknowledging her. You work for Raymond. What is it you do exactly? I'm his executive secretary. Oh, Gerald's tone made it clear what he thought of that. That's nice. Simone smirked. Raymond set down his fork. Actually, Gerald, Lorraine handles all of my sensitive casework. She has access to all of my files, all of my clients, all of my strategic planning. I trust her with everything. The emphasis on everything was not lost on Gerald. His smile tightened. That's impressive. It is, Raymond agreed. I don't give that level of access to just anyone. Lorraine earned it. Simone shifted in her seat. Marcus looked down at his plate. The main course came. Lorraine picked at her steak. Watch Raymond maneuver the conversation like a chess master. He asked pointed questions, made subtle comments, never outright hostile, but definitely sending a message. Finally, Simone couldn't take it anymore. Excuse me, she said, standing abruptly. I need to powder my nose. She left the table. A moment later, Lorraine's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Now. Bathroom. Lorraine excused herself and went to the bathroom. Simone was waiting, arms crossed. What are you doing here? Simone hissed. I work here. You work for Raymond Pierce? Yes. My father's boss? Yes. Simone's face twisted. You did this on purpose. I didn't even know who your father was until an hour ago. I don't believe you. I don't care what you believe, Simone. They stared at each other. You need to quit, Simone said. Lorraine laughed, actually laughed. Excuse me? Quit. Find another job. This is too weird. No. No. I like this job. I'm good at it. And I'm not quitting because you're uncomfortable. Simone stepped closer. Listen to me. My father is about to get a massive promotion, Raymond told him. But if you mess this up, if you say anything. About what? About you calling me a pig at my son's wedding? Simone went pale. Oh, Lorraine said softly. You didn't think I'd mention that? If you say anything to Raymond, what? What will you do? You've already taken my son. Already made sure he doesn't need me. What else is there? I can make your life hell. You already did that. Lorraine turned to leave, but Simone grabbed her arm. Please, she said, and for the first time there was fear in her voice. My father needs this job. We need this. Don't ruin it. Lorraine looked at Simone's hand on her arm, then at her face. I'm not going to ruin anything, she said quietly. I'm just going to do my job, and you're going to learn that actions have consequences. She pulled her arm away and walked out. Back at the table, Marcus caught her eye. He looked miserable. Good, she thought, then felt guilty for thinking it. The dinner wrapped up shortly after. Raymond walked them all out, shaking hands, making promises about future dinners. When it was just him and Lorraine left, he turned to her. You want to tell me what that was really about? She looked at him, this man who'd been kind to her, who'd given her a chance. Maybe over coffee sometime, she said. I'm free now. They ended up at a diner, 2 a.m, drinking terrible coffee and talking. Lorraine told him everything, the wedding, the betrayal, the things Simone had said. Raymond listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a long time. I'm sorry, he finally said. No parent should go through that. It is what it is. No, it isn't. That woman disrespected you, and your son allowed it. He's young. He's in love. He's old enough to know better. They sat in silence. What are you going to do? Raymond asked. About what? About Gerald. About the promotion. Lorraine looked at him. What promotion? I haven't decided yet. Hey, but I'm considering promoting him to senior financial analyst. It's a big jump, big salary, but it requires my complete trust. Understanding settled over her. And, she said, and I don't know if I can trust someone whose daughter treats people the way Simone treated you. Raymond. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Lorraine. If Gerald raised a daughter who thinks it's okay to call someone a pig, what does that say about his character? You can't punish him for her mistakes. Can't I? They looked at each other. What do you want me to do? Raymond asked. And that was the question, wasn't it? Lorraine thought about everything. About Marcus. About Simone. About Gerald and his obliviousness. About how easy it would be to ruin them. To take away this opportunity they needed so badly. She thought about grace. About mercy. Not about being the bigger person. And then she thought about being called a pig at her own son's wedding. I want you to do whatever you think is right, she said finally, as my boss, not as my friend. Raymond smiled slightly. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. He drove her home, walked her to her door. For what it's worth, he said, your son doesn't deserve you. He's still my son. I know. That's what makes you better than all of them. He left and Lorraine went inside. Sat in the dark. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Mom, can we talk? She stared at the message for a long time. Then she typed, I'm here when you're ready to really talk. Not to make excuses, not to defend her, to really talk. She hit send. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Lorraine set down her phone. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Didn't know if Marcus would actually call. Didn't know what Raymond would decide about Gerald. But for the first time in weeks, she felt like herself again. Strong, whole, worthy. And that was enough. Did Lorraine do the right thing? What should Raymond do about Gerald's promotion? And will Marcus finally choose his mother over his wife? Drop your thoughts below. This comment section is about to be fire. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button because we've got more stories like this coming your way.